Hey everyone, I'm Dan, and welcome to Disney Decoded. Mission Space, I know, it's not everyone's favorite, but it's the only attraction at Walt Disney World where you genuinely might feel like you're going to pass out. Not because something went wrong, because something went exactly right. The orange mission subjects your body to 2.5 times the force of gravity during launch. That's the same sustained G-force fighter pilots experience during aggressive maneuvers. Disney didn't fake it with a screen and some vibration. They built an actual centrifuge inside a theme park and spun you in it. Today, we're decoding how the machine works, the controversy that almost removed the attraction entirely, and the engineering decision Disney made that changed everything. When you board Mission Space, you sit in a 4-person capsule with a screen in front of you and a joystick in your hand. It looks and feels like a simulator. Most guests assume it's basically a fancy movie chair with some turbulence added. It isn't anywhere close to that. The ride building houses 4 separate centrifuges. Each centrifuge has 10 capsules arranged in a circular pattern around a massive rotor arm. When the orange mission launches, those rotor arms spin, and your capsule tilts simultaneously so the G-force presses your back into your seat at the right angle to simulate liftoff. The centrifuge doesn't just spin in one direction either. It spins and tilts in coordinated sequences timed precisely to the film playing on your screen. So when you see the rocket pitching towards space, your body is actually being pressed backwards at the corresponding G-force. The screen and the centrifuge are running off the same timing cue. The result is that your body physically cannot tell the difference between what's on screen and what you're feeling. That's not a metaphor. The inner ear and the visual cortex receive matching signals simultaneously, and your nervous system reads it as real acceleration. That's 2.5 Gs in a theme park built by the same NASA consultants who trained actual astronauts. Here's the part most guests don't know. Mission Space wasn't designed by Imagineers working from books about space travel. It was designed in active consultation with NASA engineers, scientists, and astronauts. 6-time NASA Space Shuttle astronaut Story Musgrave served as the primary consultant during construction. The International Space Training Center, the fictional setting of the attraction, was modeled directly on real NASA astronaut training protocols. The 4 roles guests are assigned, commander, pilot, navigator, engineer, mirror actual crew assignments on shuttle missions. Your assignment is hitting that like and subscribe button. The centrifuge technology itself was not invented for this ride. NASA has used centrifuge training for astronauts since the Mercury program in the early 1960s to prepare them for the G-forces of launch and re-entry. Disney licensed and adapted that technology specifically for EPCOT and built a version that could safely subject thousands of theme park guests per day to the same physical forces. When Mission Space opened in 2003, it was unlike anything any theme park had ever attempted. It was also, as it turned out, more intense than Disney had anticipated guests would find it. The intense reality of this ride wasn't without risk. In 2005 and 2006, 2 guests died after experiencing the Orange Mission. It's a somber part of the ride's history, but it's also the reason the attraction exists in its current form today. Because of the resulting public outcry and lawsuits, Disney had to fundamentally change the way the machine operated. Neither death was directly attributed to the ride itself by medical investigators. Both were determined to have been caused by underlying health conditions that would likely have caused serious problems regardless of physical activity. But the publicity was significant and the guest response was immediate. Attendance on the Orange Mission dropped sharply, as you would expect. Disney faced lawsuits, and in 2006, Disney made a major engineering decision. They reconfigured some of the attraction's 4 centrifuges to run a completely separate experience with the spinning disabled entirely. That became the green mission. Same capsules, same screens, but without centrifuge rotation. No G-forces, no spinning. Just a motion simulator experience similar to Star Tours. Disney can actually reconfigure the 4 centrifuges between orange and green depending on guest demand throughout the day. If more people want the intense version, Disney can shift a centrifuge from green to orange. If demand drops, they can shift it back. The building is running a live operational balancing act between 2 completely different physics experiences using the same hardware. And in 2017, Disney updated both missions with new films. The green mission became an orbit around Earth, and the orange mission became a trip to Mars, and replaced Gary Sinise as a pre-show host with Gina Torres, which has hosted the attraction ever since. Mission Space has the longest list of health warnings of any attraction at Walt Disney World. Motion sickness, claustrophobia, heart conditions, high blood pressure, pregnancy, inner ear disorders. Most guests skim the list on the way in. Here's the thing. For the orange mission, those warnings are not Disney being legally cautious. The centrifuge creates real sustained physiological pressure. If you have an undiagnosed heart condition, the orange mission will find it in a way that Space Mountain or Tron simply won't. The green mission is suitable for almost anyone who can handle a standard simulator. The orange mission is a different machine entirely. The easiest way to think about it, the orange mission is the only attraction at Walt Disney World where Disney built something that can physically stress a healthy adult body in a meaningful way. That's also what makes it impressive from an engineering standpoint. Disney didn't simulate 2.5 Gs. They achieved it. We all know Mission Space is easy to walk past on the way to Guardians of the Galaxy or Test Track. A lot of you do that. I do that. But it's the only attraction at EPCOT, maybe the only attraction at Walt Disney World where the physical experience isn't an illusion. The centrifuge is real. The G-force is real. And the machine running underneath your seat was built with the same engineers who trained the people who actually went to space. Next time you're deciding between the orange and green doors, remember what you're actually choosing between. One is a simulator, the other is a centrifuge. So is it orange or green? Or do you even ride it at all? Let me know in the comments and be sure you're subscribed with notifications on, and you'll see me in the next one. Bye.